Tamra Judge admits she was too hard on Shannon Beador after tumultuous RHOC Season 18. After one of the most dramatic seasons of The Real Housewives of Orange County, the entire cast will unite later this week to unpack all the events. That means Shannon Beador will have to face friend-turned-nemesis Tamra Judge, and we're unsure how things will end for them by the conclusion of the three-part event. It's not news that Tamra has been the target of much vitriol from fans for how badly she's treated Shannon this season, so it was inevitable that she would try to get back in their good graces. Tamra is visibly calmer at the reunion than she was during the season, which shows her in a different light. In a first look at the episode, Tamra admits she was too hard on her former ally. But Shannon isn't ready to move on now, and even calls her rival toxic. When you think about it, Shannon had to relive the trauma Tamra's insults inflicted on her, because she watched the episodes before reuniting with her fellow cast members. In perhaps one of the most surprising parts of the sneak peek, Emily Simpson says that Tamra should apologize to Shannon, but Tamra thought she meant Shannon should hand out the apology. Tamra may still be Shannon's biggest hater. It highlights that Tamra is still anti-Shannon, and is only going out of her way to win some favor with fans because if she had it her way, Shannon would look like the villain. The former friends have taken many digs at each other in the media since filming wrapped on Season 18, but fans have sided mainly with Shannon amid intense scrutiny from her co-stars. There's even a point during the reunion when Shannon claims their friendship wasn't in a good place, even after they repaired their rift while filming Season 17. Tamra responds that they spoke to each other every day, and that she thought they were on good terms, so there seems to be a bit of revisionist history going on between the women. Even if Tamra sides with Shannon during the first part of the reunion, it's hard to imagine her doing the same when Alexis Bellino waltzes onto the stage to open up about the season. Of course, we didn't learn much about Alexis this season, aside from the fact that she really loves John Jansen. Alexis made big mistakes during her return. Emily recently criticized Alexis because she thinks the returning star fumbled her big comeback. It will be interesting to see how things go when the episodes air, because Tamra is chanting that she wants to find some common ground with Shannon. But that seems out of the realm of possibility. Shannon has also been vocal about not returning to the show if Alexis secures a contract for Season 19. So that leaves us questioning where the show will go next. Shannon admitted on screen that she wanted to create healthy boundaries in her life, including staying away from Alexis and possibly Tamra. In a candid confession that took fans of The Real Housewives of Orange County by surprise, Tamra Judge recently admitted that she may have been too hard on Shannon Beador during the tumultuous events of Season 18. Known for her unfiltered opinions and fierce loyalty, Tamra has never shied away from speaking her truth, even when it leads to controversy. However, in a rare moment of self-reflection, she acknowledged that perhaps her approach with Shannon wasn't as balanced as it should have been. Looking back, I can see that I was pretty rough on Shannon, Tamra admitted in a recent interview, her voice tinged with a mixture of regret and reflection. I don't think I gave her enough grace, and I realize now that sometimes I could have handled things differently. Their friendship, once a bedrock of RHOC, was rocked this season by misunderstandings, personal insecurities, and hurtful words exchanged under the hot lights of Bravo's cameras. In an effort to find her footing again on the show after taking a brief hiatus, Tamra returned with a fierce determination to reassert herself in the group. But perhaps her drive came at a cost. The pressures of Season 18 exposed cracks in the once strong bond between the two friends, leaving Tamra with the painful task of reflecting on her role in their fractured relationship. Throughout the season, Tamra and Shannon found themselves at odds over old wounds and new grievances alike. For Tamra, the time away from the series had given her a fresh perspective, one that she hoped would lead her to reconnect with her friends. But she soon realized that returning to the Housewives world after a break also meant reliving some of the unresolved conflicts that had haunted her exit. And with Shannon, the issues ran deep. Past arguments resurfaced and, rather than approaching them with open dialogue, both women seemed caught in a relentless loop of blame and defensiveness. Reflecting on one particularly explosive scene, Tamra said, "There were moments where I let my emotions get the best of me. I thought I was just keeping it real. But looking back, I can see how some of my words probably hurt her more than I intended. For Shannon, Tamra's reappearance was a complicated mixture of relief and anxiety. She had grown accustomed to Tamra's absence and had even made strides to move forward in her life. But the return of her former friend stirred old feelings, both good and bad. While Shannon was initially excited to rekindle the bond they once shared, she quickly felt herself pulled back into old patterns of feeling judged and misunderstood. The reunion taping proved to be a pivotal moment for Tamra. Watching the footage of her tense interactions with Shannon, she couldn't ignore the hurt in her friend's eyes or the way her own words seemed harsher than intended. Seeing the moments replayed, she was struck by how her attempt to stand her ground had at times crossed into outright criticism. She could tell that, instead of fostering the supportive friendship she had hoped to rebuild, she had inadvertently deepened the wedge between them. "It's easy to get caught up in the heat of the moment on the show," Tamra confessed. "Everyone's emotions are running high, and sometimes we don't see the impact of what we're saying until we watch it back. I can tell Shannon was feeling isolated and vulnerable, and that's something I regret not recognizing sooner." For longtime RHOC fans, Tamra and Shannon's friendship has always been one of the franchise's most complex. The two women, who have been through countless ups and downs together, have both faced intense personal struggles during their years on the show. Tamra went through a highly publicized divorce and the challenges of co-parenting, while Shannon navigated the emotional toll of her own divorce and the trials of single motherhood. Through it all, they had often been each other's fiercest allies, until their loyalty began to falter under the pressures of life and reality TV. The post-season reflection didn't just stop at Shannon either. Tamra's time away from RHOC made her realize that relationships on reality TV require a balance of authenticity and compassion. Returning to a new season with a vengeance may have been her goal, but she admitted it was essential to temper her intensity with a bit more empathy. "I came back with guns blazing," she said with a rueful smile. "I felt like I needed to prove myself all over again. But at what cost? I didn't realize how much Shannon was already struggling. I just wanted to shake her out of her comfort zone, but maybe she needed a friend instead." Looking to the future, Tamra expressed her desire to mend things with Shannon and work toward rebuilding the trust they once had. She hoped that both she and Shannon could move forward with a clearer understanding of each other's needs, acknowledging that neither one of them had been blameless in the conflict. "I think we both had our guard up, and that just fueled the tension. We were both protecting our own insecurities, and it turned into a mess." For fans, the hope is that Tamra and Shannon will find their way back to each other, not just as castmates, but as true friends. Both women have admitted that they miss the days when their bond was strong enough to withstand the drama that often consumed them. And while the road to reconciliation may be rocky, Tamra is committed to making amends and showing up differently in the future. "I know our friendship might look different moving forward," she said, "but I'm willing to put in the work. Shannon means a lot to me, and I hope we can find a way to move past everything and be there for each other again. At the end of the day, life is too short to hold grudges." In a world where friendships are often tested by fame, egos, and the pressures of reality television, Tamra Judge's confession stands out as a rare moment of vulnerability and accountability. She acknowledged her missteps, owning up to the role she played in the breakdown of her friendship with Shannon, and expressed a genuine desire to make things right. For Tamra, the journey isn't just about repairing a friendship, but about growing into a better, more self-aware version of herself. In the ever-unpredictable world of The Real Housewives, where drama is currency and friendships are both fragile and fierce, Tamra's honesty might be exactly what she and Shannon need to start rebuilding. Only time will tell if these two can truly find their way back to each other. But for now, Tamra's willingness to look inward and take responsibility is a step in the right direction, and perhaps a sign that there's still hope for a friendship as resilient as the women themselves.